Hey folks, I have a little project that makes a good opportunity to talk about a variety of different things. I got to repair some vinyl siding for a customer. It has a damaged area. Sometimes people move, a piece of equipment penetration from or they take the deck off the house, or the grill melts and softens an area of the vinyl siding. My neighbor's got vinyl siding, and I know a lot of people have it and like it. I'm all right with it so long as it's not at my house. It's got a lot of pros. You can get right in and make repairs to it more easily. It's cheaper, it's light, it lasts a good long time. But if you have to come back and put a new piece in, you need to change the game a little bit, because you can't just go buy the color that you had or go to the garage and get a stick or two out of the box that you kept from when they did the project at your house. If you need to make a repair on the sunny side or any kind of area that's been sun bleached, it'll be close but no cigar. And as I turn this piece in space here, you can see the hot spot running up and down. This white area of it turning up and down, and that's basically what happens as you look at it. Every clapboard has the same formed arc in it in the cross section, and so it's the same consistent gradient of tones from the light bouncing back at your eye over and over again. There's a little grainy fake wood texture on it, and that all catches the light in the same way, so it looks real consistent until there's something slightly different about it, either the finish or the color itself, and boom, it jumps right out at you. So this is an ideal situation, and this is a little bit more theory, because the grain of this goes vertically, because this piece is installed vertically, and all the clapboards will remain unchanged. This being very slightly different, if it ends up being slightly different tone, disappears completely, because it's not apples to oranges anymore. You got apples and then you have oranges. And when it's apples to apples, a piece of clapboard next to other clapboard, and certainly where this runs into the next piece of corner, now you have apple to apple comparison, and we're gonna notice something there if we aren't careful. So what are we going to do? We're going to paint it to match. Ooh, wow, big tricks. This guy's a professional. Could have told you that. Well, we're going to paint it, but we're going to adhesion promote, because everybody, I guess not everyone knows, but a lot of people would assume painting plastic is just going to go poorly. Sometimes depending on the paint you're using, you're brushing it out and it's beating up behind you. You're trying to sand it and dirt's getting into it and it takes forever, and you're sanding something like this, we're not getting the bottom of all those grooves. You'd literally have to sand this smooth to get to the bottom of those grooves, whereby the bottom of the groove remains untouched, and then it basically hasn't had any tooth added with the sandpaper, and so you're back to square one in those areas, and plus all the time spent doing it. And then ultimately this thing flexes around and it cracks and breaks up the paint, and the paint falls off and it looks like shit. So that's not what we're going to do. We're going to use Adhesion Promoter. I often have it around in a rattle can. This is something that anybody that farts around with is a DIYer, and you find yourself wanting to change plastic colors or even skip sanding on a variety of different materials. This is kind of like liquid sanding or sanding in a can. You can keep a few of these around. There's 4 or 5 ounces in there, maybe 6. So for $35, $40 a can, now people start going, ooh, yeah, well, I don't know, maybe I'll just buy the paint that's formulated for plastic, or the plastic primer that's on the shelf at the store. Go ahead. It certainly is better than nothing, but this here is a real deal situation. And if you're going to do something like tear down the whole Power Wheels and paint the Barbie Jeep to look like a Jurassic Park Jeep, I try to save people on Reddit when I see that type of a thing, you're going to want to use a real nice adhesion promoter so that it lasts as long as it possibly could, because there's a lot of work in those projects. So that's a pretty excellent thing to have. This is going to be a PPG product, so you're going to the Sherwin-Williams automotive store near you or ordering online. But they have this in there. But Chazzy buys it in a quart, so that we've got, like I said, there's 4 or 5 ounces in there. There's going to be 32 in a quart, obviously, and that's quite a lot more. For $35, $40, this is $55, maybe $60. This is a much better value, And so the issue becomes, well, I got to spray that with a gun, Chaz, and here we go. Here we go. This was supposed to be a quick DIY, cheap and easy. Yeah, you got to have an HVLP gun. This is just a shitty one from Harbor Freight. That's what I recommend that any, again, DIYer go and do. Get yourself a $35, $40 little HVLP gun kit. You can spray all kinds of primer with it. You can spray adhesion promoting with it. You can spray a bunch of different things with it. The most important thing that you want to look out for, this is going to be another sweet tip. You're welcome. Just go ahead and mail the check to my address. These cheap guns, a lot of times, the cup itself has an outside thread on a plastic. The cup itself is a plastic threaded stem down into the gun. That's a pile of shit. You'll have it stripped because it's a fine thread. You'll have it leaking there. This is ideal for a cheap gun. Find yourself one that has, metal transition here built onto the cup, and then threads onto the gun, metal to metal. It'll last a lot longer, and you'll be happier about that. You want to get it, I don't know how to set it up. It's got all these knobs on there. It's got, you know, pressure and everything. I might go through that once in a video someday, but you can find setting up an HVLP gun on the internet pretty easy, and really out of the can or out of the box you can just start letting her rip with whatever color in here and playing with these and see what you get. You'll start to understand what you're doing as you go, and you just want to run some thinner through it when you're done. So the gun can be cheap, typical, just, you know, this isn't a component to a paint system. This is just lacquer thinner or whatever. That'll clean a gun no problem, and it'll clean this up no problem as well. So I run this, and then I put a dab of cleaner in there, run the gun until that's dry, and I blow it out, and it's basically good to go. And, you know, for the next application. If I'm using something that chemically hardens, then I start to maybe take the gun apart and clean it. But for now, we're in for that. Then you got to have yourself a compressor with 30 or 40 gallons or more, because, and which is what we have, you know, in the basement. We have an 80 gallon, but that's where our air comes in and what we use. But the problem becomes if you have a pancake or a 3, 4, 5 gallon compressor, you'll get a and compressor will kick on for 5 minutes, and then you come back and you're not going to get anywhere trying to paint. You're pushing too much volume out too quickly, and the compressor can't keep up. So you're going to want significant volume in a compressor, and a little cheap paint gun, and a gallon of, you know, cheap thinner, and you go and get yourself a quart of that, and yeah, you're in for quite a bit. But, you know, I only use a little dab on this. It'll be around for some time, and a variety of other things can be done with those tools. So we're going to paint this with Adhesion Promoter, which I have done. And as a best practice, we had it upside down, and we got into this J channel, you know, or whatever, the little siding return on both sides first, and then we turned it up, beauty side up, and made sure there wasn't anything stuck to it, and we got the beauty side. And, you know, at this point, it's already dry and ready to be brushed. And we had Sherwin-Williams make us our color. We took them a scrap of the old siding, and they made us an exterior quality paint in a quart that matches, and we even have a dab here on the lower right hand corner right there, and you can see the sheen is a little different, but it is really, really close. So we'll brush a coat or two of that on there, and we'll call it good. We'll keep that on the shelf in case we need it in the future, but of course several years down the road the paint color we're going to need is going to be different again. So you're going to want to mitigate how many times an ice dam rips the fascia and soffit off the roof of your rental property, and it swings down and smashes into the corner of the siding, destroying that as well. But that's for another day. So there you have it. Paint yourself up a nice Power Wheels Jeep, paint yourself up a siding repair, paint yourself a bunch of totes for organization, any kind of plastic or any kind of material you want to skip sanding. Get yourself some One Choice PPG XA 1050 and go to town. My compliments. Wear your respirator, because it's not like you want to promote adhesion to the alveoli in your lungs, because that will probably give you mesothelioma. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you.